5 years ago, you could sit through a full movie without touching your phone. You could read pages without checking notifications. You could listen to someone talk without feeling the urge to reach for a screen. Now, you open a video and skip ahead after 10 seconds. You read 2 paragraphs and your mind drifts. You unlock your phone without even knowing why. Something changed. And it wasn't your intelligence. It wasn't your discipline. It wasn't your ambition. It was your brain. Your attention span is not naturally shrinking. It is being trained to collapse. Quietly, gradually, systematically. And the worst part? You participated in the process. Not because you're weak, but because the modern world is engineered to fragment your focus. This isn't about motivation. It's about conditioning. Every time you scroll, switch tabs, check a notification, or jump between apps, you are teaching your brain a lesson. The lesson is simple. Depth is unnecessary. Speed is survival. Your brain listens, and it adapts, because that's what brains do. They adapt to environments. Right now, your environment is built on endless novelty. Infinite scroll, short-form content, notifications that interrupt thought before it fully forms. You wake up, and before your nervous system stabilizes, you flood it with stimulation. Messages, headlines, reels, alerts. Within minutes, your dopamine system is activated dozens of times. Dopamine is not pleasure, it's anticipation. It's the signal that says, this might be important, pay attention. But when everything feels important, nothing truly is. Your brain cannot distinguish between a real threat and a trending topic, between meaningful work and meaningless updates. So it reacts to all of it. Your nervous system stays slightly activated, slightly alert, slightly restless, all day. And here's what that does. When stimulation becomes constant, baseline focus drops. Tasks that once felt normal now feel heavy. Reading feels slow. Studying feels painful. Working deeply feels unnatural. Not because you are incapable, but because your baseline has shifted upward. Imagine drinking extremely sweet drinks every day. After a while, fruit doesn't taste sweet anymore. Your perception changes. The fruit didn't change, you did. That's what overstimulation does to attention. It raises the threshold for engagement. Now your brain expects constant novelty, fast guts, bright colors, emotional spikes. And when those aren't present, it signals boredom. But boredom is not danger. It is the gateway to depth. You used to tolerate boredom. Now you escape it instantly. The second something feels slow, you switch. The second effort increases, you scroll. The second silence appears, you fill it. That switch feels small, harmless, but neurologically, it's reinforcement. You are strengthening distraction pathways. Every interruption wires your brain toward fragmentation, and repetition makes wiring permanent. Over time, your attention window shrinks, not because it broke, but because it was retrained. Here's the psychological cost no one talks about. When your focus weakens, your confidence follows. You begin to question yourself. Why can't I concentrate? Why am I so behind? Why does everything feel harder than it used to? You interpret neurological conditioning as personal failure. That interpretation becomes identity. I'm bad at focusing. I'm lazy. I lack discipline. But laziness is rarely the problem. Dysregulation is. When your nervous system is constantly stimulated, it cannot settle into deep work mode. Deep focus requires safety, calm breathing, stable dopamine levels, low external interruption. But your environment is built for interruption. Your phone vibrates, your laptop pings, your brain anticipates novelty even when none arrives. This creates what feels like internal restlessness, a subtle agitation. You sit down to work. Within minutes, discomfort appears. It's not exhaustion, it's withdrawal from stimulation. Your brain asks, where is the quick reward? When it doesn't receive one, it resists. That resistance feels like inability, but it's adaptation reversing. Most people quit here. They assume they cannot focus, so they return to stimulation. The loop continues. Overstimulation, reduced focus, self-criticism. More overstimulation. The loop is self-reinforcing, and modern platforms are designed to keep it running. Infinite scroll removes stopping cues. There is no natural ending. Short-form content compresses narrative into seconds. Your brain receives resolution instantly. Real life does not resolve instantly. Skills take months. Books take hours. Conversations take patience. But your brain has been trained for immediacy. This is why long-term goals feel distant, not because you lack ambition, but because your reward system is calibrated to short cycles. The deeper consequence is fragmentation of identity. Attention determines exposure. Exposure shapes thought. Thought shapes behavior. Behavior shapes life. If your attention is scattered, your growth becomes scattered. You start many things, you finish few. Each unfinished task reinforces doubt. Doubt increases stress. Stress increases the craving for easy dopamine. The cycle tightens. The tragedy is that you blame yourself. You think you need more willpower, but willpower cannot compete with engineered stimulation. You don't fix this with motivation. You fix it with environment design. The brain follows input. Change input, and the brain recalibrates. But recalibration feels uncomfortable because reduced stimulation feels empty at first. Silence feels loud. Stillness feels unnatural. That is not regression, it is detox. Your dopamine system needs contrast. When everything is intense, nothing feels meaningful. When you reduce intensity, sensitivity returns. Here's how you begin. Protect the first hour of your morning. No scrolling, no short-form content. Let your brain wake gradually. This stabilizes baseline dopamine. Second, train single-task focus. Set a timer for 25 minutes. One task, no switching. When the urge to check your phone appears, observe it. Do not obey it immediately. You are retraining impulse pathways. Third, reintroduce controlled boredom. Walk without headphones. Eat without screens. Sit without input. Boredom is not wasted time. It rebuilds tolerance for stillness. Fourth, reduce notifications aggressively. If it is not urgent, it does not deserve immediate attention. Every alert is a vote for fragmentation. Fifth, prioritize sleep. Sleep regulates dopamine receptors. Without it, attention collapses faster. None of this is dramatic. It is consistent. Small environmental changes create neurological shifts. Within weeks, focus begins to stretch. You read longer. You think deeper. You feel calmer. Not because you forced yourself, but because you removed interference. Picture two versions of yourself 1 year from now. One continues constant stimulation, scrolling in small gaps, switching tasks frequently, feeling slightly behind, slightly restless. The other protects attention intentionally, reads daily, works deeply, thinks clearly, feels composed. The difference is not talent, it is training. Your brain becomes what it repeatedly practices. Right now, ask yourself, what am I practicing daily? Interruption or depth? Because attention is not just productivity, it is agency. Whatever controls your attention influences your direction. If algorithms decide what you see, they influence what you think. If notifications dictate your focus, they influence what you become.